little different video here. Sunday night, I got time change, so you know it's late. It's like 7-something o'clock, and the sun's still out. So I got some of these drinks. The wife found them at Aldi. They're sparkling water, but they're from Arizona iced tea, non-alcoholic. And then I got a cigar here. The wife actually also bought this for me. It's a CAO BX3. I think some people call them Chow, but I've always called them Cow. I don't know. That's probably not how you pronounce it. And I got my ashtray here. That's just the microphone case. But I wanted to talk about why I switched to 380 and the Glock 42. So let's get this lit here, and then I will come back and we'll talk about the 380. Although I have been enjoying the punch cut instead of a cut, like a cutter. I have a cutter right here. Instead of a cutter, I've been enjoying the punch cut. And my wife got this lighter for me. This was years ago. It's before our first child was born. So this was probably like 2015. She got this for me, maybe 2016. There's a cigar shop, if you're familiar with Stockton, California. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it's called The Tobacconist. And it's this little old lady. I mean, she's probably dead by now. But it's this little old lady smokes these big old Churchills and stuff. And it's pretty funny. But it's pretty cool. I know it's probably not the proper way to light it, but whatever. It's the way I've always done it. I'm sure I'll get made fun of. But oh well. Dog's also out here. Okay. So let's start here. Make sure I'm still in frame. This gun is unloaded. Nothing in the chamber. Magazine is empty. And there's no magazine. So that's just the dog coming in. So the reason that I switched to 380, the Glock 42, is basically just because the 43, I had the 43X and I noticed that it was just hard to carry. Like, I'm a bigger guy, I know that, but it was harder to carry because it was thicker. Like, it was definitely thicker. I'm trying to flag myself here. This is less than an inch thick, and the 43 was, I think it was just over an inch. And then the grip was also a lot longer. So let's start. The whole reason I got a 43 in the first place was I was looking for a carry gun. Basically just anything really. I didn't have an idea. I had, back when we lived in California, I had a Smith & Wesson SD9, and I really like that thing. But that's about the size of a Glock 17. I think it's either the size of a 17 or the size of a 19. I'm not exactly sure what the exact comparison is, but that was definitely I just lost what I was thinking. Oh, I had that gun in California. I actually really liked it. Actually, I gave it to my father-in-law when we moved. I think he still has it. I'll ask him. But I'm pretty sure he probably still has that. And I actually really liked that thing. The thing was really awesome. But it was a little big to carry every day. So when it came time to get a new carry gun, once we lived here in Texas, I was thinking what to get. And I was basically looking at like Glock 42s. Or not, excuse me. I was looking at M&P shields. And because I always thought Glocks were kind of expensive. So then I was doing comparison. I watched a bunch of videos and people were comparing the shield, the M&P shield 9mm to the Glock 43 and then the Glock 43X. So I was like, well, how much is the difference? And actually, at the time I bought that, the 43X was cheaper than the shield. It was only like 20, 25 bucks cheaper, but still, it's cheaper. So I was thinking like, well, maybe I'll just get a Glock. So I started looking at the Glocks and then I landed on the 43, just the plain 43, not the 43X, because of the grip length. And I did sell the 43, so I don't have them both to compare. But the grip length was what I was comparing to. And the 43 and the 42 grip length is very, very similar. The 42 is actually a little bit shorter. But I went the gun store I went to, the guy said, like, why do you want a 43 versus the 43X? They're exactly the same price. So he showed me both, and I picked the 43X. And then I had that little, what is it, the 945 Industries pack. I still have that. I just don't have the right holster for this one yet. But I really like that. And that's the way I carried for a while. But then it kind of got difficult off-body carrying. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. There was a lot of different like reasons why off-body carrying was not the best. So I had the hog holster. This one's for the 42, but I had the one for the 43 originally. I had it. I sold everything as a lot, but I tried to start carrying it like, inside the waistband, and it was just hard to carry. So I decided to, like, I would get to the point where I just wouldn't carry it just because it was big. And I know people are going to be like, well, I carry a 19 or a 17 or a full size this or a 1911 or whatever. I get that. But I mean, every day, like, it's not comfortable to carry a big one, right? That's my opinion. Okay, that's going to get clipped, I know, but whatever. But I basically figured that I kind of got tired of that, and then, like, I really like that gun. Like, the 43X it's a great, don't get me wrong, like, I have no complaints over it. When I got my license, I qualified with that gun, and that thing's super easy to shoot. It doesn't have a lot of muzzle flip. It's a little bit longer than this. I do have a picture comparing the 42 and the 43. I'll put that on the screen. And then, but basically, like, we were actually out here shooting. My wife was here. Her sister was here. It was last summer sometime. We were actually right out here shooting. We kind of live in the country. There's nothing behind us back here. So we were shooting, and then my neighbor next door came over, and he gave me his 42, and he's like, here, try this. So I was shooting his 42, and I was like, man, that thing is awesome. Like, I just like how small it is. It's super small. It fits in your pocket, even with the magazine. Like, you can put it in your pocket. It's really small. Actually, what's the height of it? I don't even know. Let's see. So standing straight up, it's 4 inches. So he brought it over, and we were shooting that, and I'm like thinking, like, well, like, I don't really want 380, right? I want a 9mm. And then I started doing a bunch more research about 380 versus 9mm. A bunch of research, and basically 380 and 9mm are the same size bullet. It's just the case is a little bit shorter on a 380, and there's less powder in a 380. And a lot of people carry 380s. And there's this guy on YouTube. He's on TikTok too. What's his name? Spin Firearms. And he talks about how, like, 380 is adequate just because, like, in 80-something% of times you pull out your gun, like, you don't even shoot it. Most of the time you pull it out and the threat just runs away or leaves or stops instantly. You don't even have to pull the trigger. So I'm thinking that, and I'm like, wow, that's a good idea. So that's kind of what brought me back to the 380 was the, like, shooting the neighbors, and then I'm like, the size. I'm just like, I want something a little bit smaller. So that's kind of that's why I went to 380. The size of this thing, the 42, it is kind of an old, I think this thing came out 2013, 2014, and they haven't updated it, like, as where the 43 and the 43X have like, there's Gen 4 and Gen 5s, as where this was, somebody's coming out here, this was both Gen 4 and 5 together. The reason I went to Glock, so a lot of people hate on Glock just because they don't innovate. It's the same thing, what else have I heard? Like, it's basically just kind of, they're like, it's just bland. It's the Toyota of carry guns. Well, yeah, it is, but that, these things are super reliable. Like, I mean, militaries use them. They they have, a lot of people say too, you know, because they don't have the external safety, which is true, they don't. But these things are super, super safe. And I know the whole SIG P3 320 thing, 365, I can't remember. The one where it shot I think it was an officer had it in his holster and he bent over and it shot. Like, a lot of people give SIG a bad rap for that, but like, I think that was kind of extenuating circumstances. If you honestly look at it, like, the holster wasn't proper, I think, and he didn't have it in the holster properly. So I think that's part of the reason. But this thing, you know, the Glocks won't go off unless you pull the trigger. There's 3 safeties, you know, there's the trigger safety, there's the firing pin safety, and there's the drop safety. These things have been tested tons of ways, tons of different things, and these will not go off unless you pull the trigger. Basically, you know, that's it. There's no way that you're going to get this thing to go off. So, part of that, and then one thing I really like about Glock that a lot of people don't realize is they basically make a Glock in any caliber you want. If you want 380, you want, what is it? 357 SIG, 9mm, you know, 45 ACP. They make it in 25, 22. You know, they make a Glock in anything you want. So, like, why would you not? Like, yeah, they're basically all the same. So, if you grab one that's, you know, a 9mm versus a 45, yeah, the size is going to be different, but everything else is basically the same. Like, the way it operates, the way the you know, the mag release is ambidextrous. You can switch it around if you want. The way the slide release, you know, they're basically the same. Like, a lot of people don't like that though, but I think that these are great carry guns just because of what they are, you know, like, they're super reliable, they're super handy, you can't go wrong. That's just my opinion. That's kind of why I switched to the 42 over the 43. I'm thinking maybe a regular 43 would have been fine. I kind of thought maybe I shouldn't have got the 43X and I should have got the regular 43 and I wouldn't have this problem. But I've had this thing for about a month now and I've had any issues with it. I want to get a little more range time on it, but that's just my opinion. You know, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube algorithm stuff would be much appreciated. Thank you.